Not that long ago, tools like this were headed for the scrap heap. But today, I'm headed into Cohen Hall, where UVM students are going beyond the digital world and back in time in the Return to Analog today on Across the Fence. This is Archival Filmmaking at UVM, where students explore the possibilities of physical film experimentation. They take old film reels once destined for the dustbin and turn them into art.
Right now I'm just using the rewinds. I'm rewinding this clip because there's a shot of a bird in a cage at the beginning that I kind of want to use, but I'm trying to figure out how long it is.
My name is Deb Ellis, and I am a professor in the Film and Television Studies program at the University of Vermont. And I teach primarily production classes. I also teach some documentary nonfiction history. The class that I'm teaching right now is called Archival Film. It's a class where students are introduced to working with analog materials, meaning 16 millimeter, 35 millimeter slides, and looking at it, learning some of the old tools that we use to work with it, to edit it, to view it.
This class was born from a passion Deb has for physical film, a passion she was able to explore when she was a student herself.
When I went to grad school, we were working with both film and with video, and I really developed a love for analog film, for shooting in film, and for editing in film.
So are you going to shoot off the wall?
And I've just held on to that. I don't know why. I mean, some of us like cats, I like 16 millimeter film. Over my career, I have now and then sort of appropriated equipment when it's been around. I've collected films that were being thrown out.
Deb's love for film prompted her to save everything she could. Over time, her collection grew and grew.
My office used to be filled with 16 millimeter films, and it smelled a lot, and I didn't spend time in there. And finally, I just decided I'm going to bring some of that stuff over here and start letting students use it instead of feeling so precious about it, because I think it really should be used.
I gave that up.
In 2024, archival filmmaking became a class for the first time. Since then, students get their hands dirty, as Deb would say, with old film from her collection. They cut and manipulate film by hand while also learning the art and meaning of archival preservation.
Okay, so this is a projector.
This one here says it works with sound, so that's kind of cool.
This thing is pretty ragged.
Yeah, that's
And then you have to close the gate. Yeah. You got this.
With access to tools from a past era, students work with the film by hand, viewing the chemical images through rewinders or projectors and transforming these film archives into art of their own.
It's letting me see the film, which is really nice because it's really hard to see it since it's such a small print, like on its own. So these are a great way to visualize it, and it's really helpful. That's how I figured out what I wanted my project to even be about. I was intimidated at first, but it is kind of intuitive. Deb walked us through it on the first day of class, and then if we had any questions we could ask her, and then she was kind of just come in on your own and try it out. I've always wanted to learn with film, just old film equipment, because I think it's a dying art, and I didn't even know we had them here, so it's awesome.
There aren't that many places where people can view existing 16 millimeter film. So every project we sort of are thinking about slightly different issues that are connected to the idea of using archival materials. The majority of film history, early film history, disappeared because the film was all on nitrate-based film. And so a lot of that has burned. The film that we're working with now isn't flammable like that, but it mutates. And you know, the color on a lot of the films that we look at is red. It's because that's just what's happened to the color over years.
So do you have any idea what you're going to do with this?
I don't know. It's 2 minutes long right now, so I need to cut it down.
In Deb's eyes, working with this old equipment is a healthy change of pace from the volatile world of today.
I compare it to sometimes, like you've heard of the slow food movement. It's sort of like that in a way. We slow down a little bit and work physically with our visual material and think about what it means to actually go in and chop up old film and manipulate old film and scratch old film, and then we have fun making things out of that.
Well, digital is a lot easier in editing. You don't have to think about the actual physicality of the film like you do for these guys. And even with film photography, that's like another thing. It's like you don't touch the film, you don't touch it. You're not supposed to look at it because the light will ruin it. But since this stuff's already processed and developed, it's like you're supposed to touch it and mess with it, and that's what Deb wants us to do. So it's like a different, I don't know, a different viewpoint on film that like you're normally really like scared to touch, I feel like. But with this, you're able to, like, that's what she wants you to do. She wants you to touch it and look at it and put it all together.
So it's just an interesting place for us to think about the nature of what lasts, what doesn't last, whether to save, why we save, what does it mean when we turn everything into digital.
This spring, students have been given full access to 2 Steenbeck machines that were donated to the UVM Film Department a few years ago by filmmakers and fellow 16mm enthusiasts.
When students are introduced to the Steenbecks, they just are sort of like their jaws go open. I can't believe this.
So this is a, I think, 70s educational film about fish and like other aquatic animals. And so I'm basically going through it, trying to find a little section to take out. And I think I have found the section I'm going to take.
Sometimes things in the universe happen. And a few years ago, a filmmaker asked me if I was interested in his old Steenbeck machine. And a Steenbeck is a big, large piece of equipment that most films were made on before the 1990s, up and through the 1980s. Put, you know, a film on one side and we load it up and we turn it on, turn the light on, and they see the picture go through and the sound comes out of this little speaker. It's just sort of, it gives them a little bit of awe, and they really love it.
There's a lot of footage of like old fish tanks and just like the fish swimming around, and I thought it was very interesting just to see it through this medium. I had an idea for my longer term project, but for this one that we're doing right now, we're just taking like 10-second snippets. The narrator's asking like, why does like the fish like breathe through its mouth, and why do, like, what will the tadpole be when it's older, and all that stuff. So I marked using this little pencil the frame that I wanted, which was just back here a little bit. So there was the mark. So I just draw a little line.
It's changed completely from a tadpole.
Having the Steenbecks, I think, has opened up the door for just a couple of things. It's opened up the door for students. I had one student who worked on both shooting and editing his own film on the Steenbeck, and that was an independent project. And this year, it's allowed a much larger group of students to at least have that experience. And then it also opens up some opportunities for students to work with me on some of these projects that might come up in the future with special collections or with other filmmakers who want to look at 16mm film that they have access to.
This rare opportunity to work with refurbished Steenbecks allows students to dive deeper into original film editing processes. It also opens the door for larger collaborative projects with archival organizations such as UVM Collections to learn more about local history.
It actually is something that provides a service to the community. Just this morning I met with somebody else from the university who's interested in looking at some of the old 16mm footage that was collected by UVM folks in the 1930s, 1940s, 1950s, 1960s. Again, not all labeled. A lot of it hasn't been looked at. So we have the opportunity now to work with special collections and bring some of that stuff down, take a look at it. You know, would this be useful for something? What can we use it for? Is it worth spending the money to get this professionally digitized? Or can we at least just put labels on it so that somebody in the future will know what it is? So I'm a great believer in liberal education in general, which means that what you do in college doesn't necessarily lead you directly toward a specific career path, but what it does do is it provides you with ways to think and ways to see the world.
For Deb, this course is about more than the repurposing of old materials and the art of the archive. She also sees the techniques of archival filmmaking as a way for students to understand the cultural context of the digital age in a new light.
Why is a fish's mouth always opening and closing? What happens to the tadpole as he gets older? What kind of a suit is this man wearing? And why is he wearing it?
In a world where so much is instant and often disposable, students at Archival Filmmaking slow down and think about what's worth saving. They create art through maintaining, beyond just the film reels themselves, but the histories and the stories that they carry. At the University of Vermont, I'm Rhiannon with Across the Fence.